What's up, everyone? What's up, everyone? Hello, everyone. Hey, guys. Welcome to today's video. I'm Daniel. I'm here in Iowa, Gold Coast Casino. I'm ready to give you guys another vlog. Hello, everyone. I'm Daniel, aka FloppyPENGuinn, and welcome to today's video. I'm really excited about today's video because in the past, I've done some videos on arsenal building, but I really wanted to revamp that and reopen that for today's bowling balls because we have a lot of bowling balls that are coming out today. And so with that, I wanted to show you guys what it might look like to build a tournament arsenal in the modern day. So let's kind of dive in. So first, I would say we want to start at the high end of things. I find it personally easier to start at the top and work your way down. You could start at the bottom and work your way up, but I find it easier to go from the top down. So as you see, we have 6 bowling balls here today, and the goal is for these 6 balls to be a well-rounded tournament arsenal. We have a couple from each of the major brands, and so we have this opportunity to dive into what it looks like. So let's start off at the top. So at the very top is going to be the Storm Ion Max. So this ball is the large asymmetric solid from Storm, and of course it looks amazing too. I love the colors of this ball, but with that said, this ball is a great starting number 1 ball. And the reason for that is because it's got that large core and it's a strong asymmetric cover. So this ball is great for whenever you're bowling on fresh patterns. It's also very versatile in the sense that you could throw this on a shorter pattern if you want to keep your angles a little more open and you have a higher ball speed, or on a longer pattern, especially if you are rev dominant like myself. It helps the ball to slow down and not overhook because it's got that large core or engine in it to help with that. So this is a really good starting ball, and also even on those medium patterns where if you're bowling on something tricky and you need something that's going to be super smooth and can have a little bit of surface on it, this ball would work really well in that spot because you can add that surface to really blend it out and make it nice and smooth. So let's move down to the next ball in our arsenal. The next ball, I'm going to stick in the asymmetric range right now, and I'm going to talk about the new Black Widow Mania from Hammer. So this Black Widow Mania is a shiny asymmetric ball. It's a hybrid, and it is a really good ball whenever you're seeing that transition, especially on those longer or medium patterns and you need that transition ball. This would probably be the go-to on that, especially if it had a little bit of a weaker layout or even a medium layout, especially with that first number being in the middle range of that layout. I think would be smart for this ball, simply because you don't want this ball to start up too early, or else you're going to run into a problem with some of the other bowling balls might overlap with this ball in your arsenal. So with that, if you do a more medium or even a little weaker of a layout on here, it'll help keep a little bit more of a difference between all 6 of your balls and give you that extra edge of versatility over your competition. Because what you can do is start with the Ion Max on that longer or medium pattern, especially if there's a little more volume. Once they start to break down and this ball is leaving you those 10 pins, if you're righty, or lefty 7 pins, then this would be the one that you want to go to, because then it'll give you that option of having a bit more on the back end. It's a hair cleaner, of course, being shiny, so it'll give you a bit more on the back end, but it still has that asymmetric core. Now, speaking of cores, let's move on to symmetric balls. The next ball in our line is going to be the Subzero Forge from Motive. Now, this ball is going to fulfill our benchmark category. So it is a duller symmetric ball, and that's really going to help blend out a multitude of patterns. This ball would probably be, if you don't know what the pattern is and you're going into a tournament, this ball would likely be the one to start with first, simply because it gives you that option of knowing, hey, I can go down from here or I can go up from here, and I'll know exactly what I want this ball to do. So this ball, with your benchmark spot, you never want to do anything crazy with a layout. You don't want to go too weak or too strong of a layout, because then it becomes unusable on several different patterns, whereas we want maximum versatility. So going with a very standard layout that you know and trust, that's medium and well-rounded, is a great idea for a benchmark ball, simply because it gives you that edge of versatility like we've been talking about. Now you can see we've discussed the 2 balls that are stronger than this benchmark spot in your arsenal, and then I'm about to discuss two balls that are weaker, and then a urethane option for spares as well. So with that said, let's move on to our next option in the bag, which is a little weaker and a little cleaner than the Subzero Forge, which is the Zen 25, the newest ball from the 900 Global line. Now the reason that we went with this ball is because it still has that large core in it, but it's got a slightly weaker cover stock than the Subzero Forge, and it's a cleaner cover stock, of course, being shiny. So this has that Power Edge polish, new from the Storm family, and this ball is extremely good for whenever you need to open up your angles, but still need a large, strong core to help you with that. So when the asymmetric shiny ball is just too much and it's leaving you those 10 pins, this is the immediate ball that I would go to. And you can probably stick in a very similar line that you would throw with this Black Widow Mania, but get a bit more punch on the back end out of the Zen 25 to get out that pesky 10 pin if you're right-handed. And the reason for that is because the cover allows this ball to really shine. Where once again, if you're opening up those angles, bowling on a medium or even a long pattern, and they've really broken down at this point, you're in game 4, roughly, and you need to open up your angles, but you don't want to give away the carry, this would be the ball to go to because it's going to have plenty on the back end for you to get out that 10 pin. Now, once we move down to our Storm Road Warrior, which is going to be the weakest ball in our bag, this ball is going to fill a unique spot. It's probably going to be on the lower end of versatility because it's going to have a very defined purpose. This ball is going to be for when the lanes are dry and you need to open up your angles extensively. This is going to come in handy, especially on those medium patterns, or maybe even on the long patterns at the very end of the day, or if you encounter carry down from urethane on a short pattern. Because what can happen is, on a short pattern, once the lanes carry down, the urethane balls typically will eat up the oil from the front end of the lane and deposit it on the back end. It's called carry down. So with that said, this is a ball that would typically be very useful later in the day once the lanes carry down, because you can use this ball to really open up those angles. It's clean through the front, but it stores a lot of energy for the back end, so you're not giving away anything. Although it will force you to open up your angles quite a bit, so if you do throw it on a short pattern and there's not enough carry down, you will stone 9, 4, 9, and 7 pin and 10 pin quite a bit with it if it's not the right option at the right time. Now with that said, on the medium patterns especially, this ball will be great because on the end of the day, whenever you need to move left and all your competitors are starting to really get inside and you got to open up your angles and throw the ball to the right, this ball is phenomenal for that because it stores a lot of energy. Having a slightly weaker layout on this ball with a lower last angle is never a bad idea because it really takes advantage of that skid flip that the ball naturally is designed to do and wants to do. And with that said, once you open up your angles, you need that skid flip anyways, because then it carries through the pins and it stores that energy to get down the lane when bowling balls like these are a little too strong to throw. So now let's move to the final option in the bag, ball number 6, which is the urethane ball, which is the Hammer Purple Hammer. Now this is a trusty, it's tried and true. It's been in the Hammer line for years now. And the reason for that is because it's a urethane ball. And this urethane ball is very unique. So it is not weaker or stronger than any of these. It is on its own little island here. And the reason I say that is because urethane is so different from reactive resin. I already talked about how urethane doesn't absorb oil. It carries down the oil. But when should you throw it? Well, if you're bowling on a long pattern, this ball should never come out of your bag. If you're bowling on a medium pattern and you have a very high rev rate, the chances are it's likely that it could come out of your bag. But if you're bowling on a short pattern, this ball is very likely to come out of your bag. And the reason for that is because although it doesn't hook very much, it has a lot of natural surface and you can keep it very dull. And it works very well whenever it's very dull because it rolls extremely early and gives you a lot of traction in the oil. So if you're bowling on a short pattern, it'll hook extremely early for you and blend out the back end and give you that extremely smooth motion that'll allow you to stay right more towards the gutter, which is phenomenal. So with that said, that rounds out our arsenal. And once you finish up and have that carry down on the lanes, it's better to go to something a little shiny to get through the fronts where the oil's been taken away and still have that back end to cover and carry. So guys, thank you so much for joining me today. on this episode of Arsenal Building with FloppyPENGuinn. And I think this is a great tool to use if you're developing your arsenal for tournaments out there. Thank you.